And the other big story we're following today out of the Middle East, there are bombshell reports that Hamza bin Laden, the son of Osama bin Laden, is now dead. U.S. officials have worked for some time now to confirm his death and now believe they have evidence to corroborate it. The New York Times reported that Hamza was killed in an operation within the last 2 years. Now, the U.S. this year accused Hamza of seeking to encourage attacks against America. So for more on this and all the news coming from the Middle East, let's go now to former Pentagon official Mike Maloof. Okay, Mike, so the big news overnight was the killing of Osama bin Laden's son, Hamza, who, as we've discussed on this show, was the heir apparent of his late father's, terror empire. DOD officials won't confirm exactly when or how he was killed, but some speculate it could have been as far back as this February or at any point in the last 2 years. Meanwhile, they announced that $1 million bounty on his head just a month or so ago. You and I discussed this. I mean, what gives? Make some sense of this timeline for us. Why would they do that?
It means basically that we don't know. We really don't know. I mean, there's a lot of speculation. You haven't heard any confirmation whatsoever out of Al-Qaeda on the other side. Normally when these things happen, there is confirmation. As you point out, they think within the last, the story is, according to U.S. officials, within the last 2 years, but yet the FBI just a month ago puts a...
Right.
I mean, that doesn't make any sense. They talk to one another, or supposedly they do. They should know that. I mean, this is a story that needs to be fleshed out a little more. I recall when we used to declare that al-Baghdadi of ISIS had been dead.
He's been dead many times.
Yeah, many, not only many times, but over many years, and then he comes back to life.
Right.
Now, Hamza has served a purpose. Until we know for sure, and there's no evidence, no documentation, I think we have to assume the worst, that he's still around.
Really?
Now,
okay.
He could have gone underground. I mean, who knows? All of a sudden he's disappeared. Nobody has any evidence. Yet U.S. officials don't even confirm with anything, any evidence for public consumption that will satisfy, our questions about his existence. It's possible he may rise up again. But he also serves a he may have gone underground. Who knows?
Like al-Baghdadi did, just rise from the grave 5 times over.
Exactly. I mean, they go off and do other things, and he does have a job. His job is to basically bring in younger people. And that's what he's basically been working on.
Right, because he was doing online stuff.
Yeah, and also he's been going from Iran to Pakistan to Afghanistan and Syria. To
the rugged terrain, as you said before.
Those areas are really bad, and there's no information that corroborates any of this that we've taken him out.
So you think
or
it's
anybody's
best to err on the side of thinking that he is alive?
You got to. I hear some reports. We've seen these anonymous sources before, official sources before out of the U.S. government, and oftentimes they turn out not to be true. Until we have specific evidence or confirmation from the other side, we have to assume that that's one interesting report, and then let's move on. And keep,
until there's a body.
Yeah, until you see it. And you got to still keep your alerts up. Now, Al-Qaeda has really strengthened, even under the kid.
Yeah, I was going to say, as we know, Osama is dead. Hamza is supposedly dead.
Yeah.
Al-Qaeda is not, as you've said. And that's not to mention any other number of children that Osama has, because they said he fathered something like 20 kids or something.
20 kids, yeah.
So given that, knowing that Hamza is not one kid, he's one of many kids.
One of many.
What does this mean for Afghanistan?
Well, it means that Al-Qaeda will remain a threat, and one of the ways that Al-Qaeda has been getting its recruits is that many jihadists find that ISIS is so brutal that they actually switch over to Al-Qaeda because their ideologies are similar.
Right, terror light.
Yeah, terror light.
Not as horrible as
correct.
ISIS.
That's correct.
Wow, that's got to be pretty bad then if you compare it that way, right? and now, Mike, I want to move over to Yemen. The other news there, Houthi rebels fired a ballistic missile at a military parade in Aden, along with a coordinated suicide bombing at a nearby police station. So all in all, something about around 51 people are dead. There are dozens more that are injured. First, this is a time of a long-standing civil war in Yemen. Why on earth are they having a parade? And second, now what in Yemen?
Well, they were recruits. They were graduates. I mean, it was anticipated, and that makes it very likely to be subject to attack. You don't. You see, if you alter your routes, you alter your times and all that, there's less likelihood of attack. They not only fired ballistic missiles, they also fired explosive drones over them. So everything was ready and set. It's like they put out a press release. Say, we're going to have this parade, we're going to have this graduation. Yeah, come and attack us. You don't do that, and that's what happened. So they had. You know, they had a tremendous number of people that were just slaughtered.
A lot of casualties. And while I still have you here, what about the recent sanctions on Javad Zarif?
Oh yeah. It's like the old Nixon enemies list. If you're not sanctioned by the U.S., if you're an Iranian, you're a nobody.
So this is a who's who, really?
Yeah, it basically is. I mean, frankly, he's not that powerful within the structure these days in Iran.
He tried to quit before. He tried to quit his job. He tried to quit.
That's correct. And I mean, even he is laughing about it. Now, what's interesting about Zarif is that he has a tremendous knowledge of the United States. He went to school here. He got his bachelor's and his master's and a PhD. His two children, a boy and girl, were born in the United States.
They're American.
Yes, they are.
Wow.
So he knows, and what's interesting is that you don't, even though outwardly it looks like if you sanction somebody who's supposed to be a negotiator from the other side, right, it's not going to pay off. Well, they're playing that card. That's fine. But frankly, his influence right now is very diminished, as is Rouhani, in the eyes of the Supreme Leader. Supreme Leader calls all the shots.
Well, he's sanctioned too, so.
Well, yeah, but he's still calling all the shots.
Yeah.
And part of it too is that they feel that the effectiveness of Rouhani and Zarif has been greatly diminished, even though they're from the reformist wing and all that. So I think you're going to probably see a shift in who's going to be negotiating in the future if we're going to continue beating them over the head. Now, it's not unprecedented for a foreign diplomat to be sanctioned by the United States, and the United States still talks to them. So we did that. The United States did that to the Russian deputy deputy national security advisor, and Bolton met with him recently in Jerusalem. So you know, they still talk.
It's a dog and pony show, Mike.
Well, it is, but you know, the question is, how effective is that? I mean, if you're really serious about wanting to have a rapprochement of some kind, right, you know, lighten up a bit, and let's keep the doors open. Right now, we're shutting them all. And now, what's going to be a potential saving grace beyond all this is what Rand Paul decides to do. Trump basically appointed the senator to, you know, try to work things out a little bit. Right. I'm interested to see where that heads. It doesn't show that we're going to go militarily against them entirely. At least there's a door opening from the U.S. them. Well, let's see if there's a response from Iran.
Let's see if cooler heads prevail here.
Hopefully.
As always, appreciate your expertise, Mike Maloof. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.